good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to race number 11 of the Mobil 1 Cup Series. We are here under the lights at Lowe's Motor Speedway, and this, folks, is the second half of the season here in the Mobil 1 Cup Series, which means that now drivers are trying to make their moves to get themselves into the chase for the Mobil 1 Cup Series Championship. They've only got a total of 5 races to do that, and then the chase field is set for races 15 through 20, where this season it is looking like we're possibly going to have anywhere from 12 to 15 competitors in the chase. Yeah, shaking it up a little bit. We may have more drivers in the chase than we did last season, which means that there's more of a chance of, of a driver becoming the champion. And really like that, aside from the fact that we'd really like to get rid of the chase altogether, but really can't do that because there are so many drivers in these 3 different series. Alright, so on the pole for today's race is going to be John Brace, who comes in 4th in the standings, and you're probably going to get tired of me during the course of this race and the next 4 because I'm going to be constantly going and saying who is where in the standings, just because of the fact that there is a possibility that a lot of drivers, especially drivers like down in the top 25 or something, they are still mathematically in contention to try and get a chase spot. So that's why I'm going to be constantly saying that, because we're going to be seeing if they make progress or if they don't during the course of these 5 races before the chase starts. Okay, so John Brace is on the pole. He's 4th in the standings. In second, starting on his outside, in second is Bob Fergus. Fergus comes into this race currently 30th in the standings, so I don't know if he's mathematically out or not, but a good run here today may be able to put him into contention when we go to the next race at Chicagoland next week. Then Jack Richards, he'll start off in 3rd. Richards is having a real tough time of it, trying to make the top 35 in points, actually, as he is 37th. And Noel Stiller in the 24, he's 27th in the standings, he'll line up in 4th. Then we got Patrick Murphy on the inside of Jordan Hester. Murphy is 20th in the standings. Right at this moment, he is 32 points out of getting into that 10th position. And Jordan Hester, who's been on a bit of a skid lately, he is outside the top 10 in points. He's now 11th in points, only 4 points out of that 10th position. Then we've got Chad Smith, who took the Mobil 1 Open win in that number 97. Chad Smith is trying to get inside the top 35 as well. He's 38th. And Adam Rose, he is currently running in the 21st position, so he's not mathematically out of it. He is 41 points out of that 10th position. Then we got Stephen Dillon in the 14. Stephen is 25th in the standings. He's not mathematically out of it either. He's a total of, I believe it's 45 points out. And then we got Jake Rogers, who comes in 3rd in the standings, only 10 points behind leader Devin Wilson. That's going to be Ziggy Bain. Ziggy Bain actually is sitting in 8th. Good season so far for Ziggy Bain, as he's going to roll off alongside our points leader, Devin Wilson, who comes in with a mere 8-point lead over 2nd place in the standings, Ralph Green. There's Angel D'Souza, been a very quiet competitor here in this series, currently running in the 18th position in the standings, 25 points out. And then it's Kenny McCurry, who's been to victory lane already this year. He's going to line up on the outside. Kenny McCurry comes into this race all the way down in the I can't find his name. Still looking here. Kenny McCurry is... Okay, I can't find where he is in the standings for some reason. Alright, so we'll move on, but I'm going to have to figure out where Kenny is actually in the standings right now. Anyway, we got Anthony McCurry, his older brother. He's going to be lining up there in the number 41. Anthony, he's got to win at Talladega, but man, is he having tough luck. He's 29th in the standings. Oh, there's Kenny McCurry. McCurry is 31st in the standings. Kenny McCurry is. Okay, Nick Eggleston, our All-Star Race winner in the Mobil Cup Series All-Star Race. A lineup there on the outside of Anthony McCurry and Nick Eggleston. Not only did he pick up the All-Star Race win, he's sitting very comfortably in the 9th position in standings. They're second in the standings, Ralph Green, 8 points back from leader Devin Wilson. He'll line up alongside of Robert Cruz. Cruz is having a pretty good season, 14th in the standings, only a mere 18 points out of that 10th position. Then it's Ray Wilson. Wilson is 5th in the standings, and he'll line up alongside of Arnold Columbia, who sits only, I believe it's a total of 23 points out of that 10th position. He is 16th in the standings. John Worry comes in 6th in the standings. He'll line up on the inside of Jacob Lawler. Lawler is running right now in that critical 35th position in owner points. Dougie Shears will line up there on the inside. Dougie Shears 19th in the standings, a total of 32 points out of the 10th position. And then Adam Chambers will line up to his outside. Chambers, also a driver trying to get into the top 35 in points, as he comes in 39th in the standings. Jake Berg, he comes into this race currently in the 28th position in the standings, and he's trying to get it back into chase contention. Right now, he is not in mathematically contention to get into the chase, and he'll line up alongside of James Bald, who was actually a championship contender for the Mobil Cup Series Championship last year. He is 40th in the standings here coming into this race. There's a guy who comes in with probably most of the pressure, Christian Janes. He is in that critical 10th position. He does not want to lose that position, as he only holds a slim 4-point advantage over Jordan Hester, who is 11th in the standings. Then we've got Jacob Rodriguez, who is 7th in the standings. He could very easily fall out of the top 10 here today as well. Quite a few drivers actually can fall out. John Brace, Ray Wilson, John Worry, Jacob Rodriguez, Ziggy Bain, Nick Eggleston, Christian James. They could all find themselves outside the top 10 in standings here today with a bad run. Then we got Daniel Schwab, who's filling in for the injured Logan Wilson, 22nd in the standings, a total of 42 points out of that 10th position. And Lisa Shears will line up there on the inside. Lisa Shears, boy, she started off the season pretty nicely, but now she's 23rd in the standings, a total of 42 points out of 10th place. Robert Bann in the number 23, currently not having the best of seasons either. He's 26th in the standings. And then we got Jake Cole, who's just a few positions ahead of Bann, 24th in the standings. Then we got Timmy Pacioli, only driver so far this year to have 2 wins in the Mobil 1 Cup Series. Pacioli is 17th in the standings, a total of 24 points out of 10th place. And then Jared Crocious in the 99, he's 13th in the standings, only 12 points out of 10th. Then we got Adrian Brace in the 38. Adrian trying to get into the top 35 here today. He's only 2 points away from the 35th position. 35th position running Jacob Lawler. He is in 36th in the points. And Amy Nathan is actually a possible chase contender, as she is only 7 points out of 10th in 12th position. Corey Williams in the 88. Williams is down in 33rd in the standings, just trying to stay inside the top 35. And Alex Lozano is trying to get inside the top 35, as he is 41st in the standings. Then it's John Dillon in the 1 car. John is actually in contention for the championship, or for the chase actually. He's 15th in the standings, 20 points out of 10th. And then it's Brandon Gonzalez, who had a win at Infineon, but Gonzalez is all the way down mired in the 42nd position. Then we've got Sean Galligan. Sean Galligan is currently 34th in the standings, just inside the top 34. And Matthew Rodriguez comes into this race 32nd in the standings. He's starting off in the final position. I'm going to pause this for just a minute because I'm having something come up on my screen here. We'll see if I can figure what it is, and then we'll come back for the green flag. I apologize for that. My computer wanted to run an automatic update and restart, but right now I want to get this race going here at Lowe's, so I apologize for stepping aside. I may have to do that during the course of this race if that continues to persist. Alright, so John Brace, 4th in the standings, could become a points leader here today, because Devin Wilson, Ralph Green, they are quite a ways back. Green flag is out for 40 laps of racing here at Lowe's. John Brace, he's winless this season, but he's started on the pole quite a bit this year in that 16 and had really good qualifying positions. And he's going to come down. He's going to block Patrick Murphy's advances down there as Murphy tries to get a run on the 16. Ooh. Jack Richards, Chad Smith almost making some contact back there, entering into this kind of a tri-oval front straightaway here at Lowe's. John Brace with the lead. Patrick Murphy there in second. Chad Smith has slid into third, and Stephen Dillon running now in the fourth position. Ziggy Bain has now slid his way into fifth. You know, there have been a lot of drivers that are in the top 10 standings right now that really have just slid their way in there quietly. One of those is John Worry. Worry almost ended up picking up his first career win. I believe it was back at Texas or something. But ended up having an engine failure on the final lap. But he's fought through that. He's 6th in the standings. How about Ziggy Bain? He is 8th in the standings. Nick Eggleston 9th and Christian Janes 10th. Those guys, they have no wins this season, but they're there. And you can also add Ray Wilson to that list. Ray Wilson, he's 5th in the standings. Good battle back here for second. Stephen Dillon down on that inside line. Going by Chad Smith for second. Anthony McCurry now going to battle it out for third with Chad Smith. And he may actually be thinking about second here as he got a bit of a run on Stephen Dillon. And there's Ralph Green in the 2. He has passed Devin Wilson in the 32. And he's only 8 positions back. Let's see where he's actually running. Currently, Ralph Green is being listed in 6th position. Devin Wilson in the 32, on the other hand, is being listed way back in 26th, which means he would be, I believe, a total of 12 points behind Ralph Green right now. Ralph Green would be our new points leader. And Devin Wilson, he's in a horde of traffic here. And, oh! What's going on with the 32? He's slow. And now he's down on the apron. Robert Cruz, Jacob Rodriguez, and James Ball getting held up behind him. And he's slowed down. What has happened to Devin Wilson? Devin Wilson, we're getting a report, a tire has gone down on the Dollar General Chevrolet. We're also getting a report that John Worry has retired from this race, has not even completed one green flag lap due to an engine failure. Piston broke is what we're getting a report of. So John Worry, 6th in the standings, finds problems here today, and so does our points leader, Devin Wilson. He's coming down pit road. Oh my goodness, I don't believe it. Our points leader coming into this race, Devin Wilson. They're going to get to work on that flat tire, try and get that tire changed. But you could see how his time just fell off. It must have been a left front, my guess. And that can happen here. If the brakes get hot enough, it'll melt the inside of the tire. And boy, that's really going to hurt him in the standings here. And this is where it gets critical, folks, is here in this second half of the season. Angel D'Souza moved into second, but now she's going to get challenged from Dougie Shears. And there's Ralph Green still right there in that 2 car. He's 6th still. And he may, if he could keep that position where he is, he may leave as the new points leader. Jake Rogers, he's 3rd in the standings, 10 points out. He may be able to become the points leader here if he could pick up a good finish. And maybe John Brace even could do the same. I mean, he's only a mere 15 points back from the leader, Devin Wilson. And there's Wilson all by himself. Well, not for long, really. He's actually only got about a little over a back straightaway over John Brace and company. Eric Christian James, we were talking about him being in that critical 10th spot. How he needed to get a good run here to maybe lock himself into the chase. And right now, he is doing that as he runs in the 2nd position. Here comes Jake Berg in the 20, making a challenge on Dougie Shears. That's for 3rd. And I'm seeing some drivers that were at the back of the pack moving their way up to the front here. And there they are, all nose to tail. Timmy Pacioli, he was at the back. He's up to 8th. Alex Lozano, he's up to 9th. Kenny McCurry is up to 10th. Brandon Gonzalez is up to 11th. And Matthew Rodriguez was up at 12th, but now he has slid to the high side and is getting bypassed. There's Jake Rogers. He's in 12th, and he comes in third in the standings. He came in only 2 points behind second place in the standings Ralph Green, and here he comes to the inside of Ralph Green. He's got to pick up 2 positions on Ralph Green. Right there is 1, right there is 2. He passed Ralph Green and Dougie Shears, and now he's going to try and pass Brandon Gonzalez. That would put him as the current points leader with our live points tracker. How about that? Jake Rogers, he's thinking about points lead already here. And he came in 10 points behind points leader Devin Wilson, and he is now the new points leader as Ralph Green has suddenly fallen into the background here. And right behind Jake Rogers, there's a guy who could also pick up some good points. That's Ray Wilson. He came into this race 37 points out of the top spot. So obviously there's quite a bit of... Oh, wait a minute. Where did I get 37 from? I'm sorry, 17. Wherever I got 37 from, I'm not certain. 17 points out of the top spot, and he is currently running in the 8th position right now. Well, look at Brandon Gonzalez. Started way at the back, and he seems to be the only driver who hasn't gotten the shuffle on the high side. Currently running there very comfortably in the 6th position. He's been to victory lane this year. But, you know, if he could pick up a second win, even though he's down in 42nd, that would tie him with Timmy Pacioli for 2 wins this season. And if he and Pacioli were the only 2 drivers who ended up having 2 wins this season, they both, if they were outside the top 10 standings, would transfer their way in to the Mobil 1 Cup Series chase for the championship due to the fact that they have the most wins this season. So that may be in the back of Brandon Gonzalez's head, but right now he's got Kenny McCurry and John Brace directly ahead, and then you've got the 32 just ahead of them of Devin Wilson, who is 1 lap down in the 41st position. And Devin is up to speed with the rest of these cars. As a matter of fact, it's taken John Brace quite a bit of time to even run down the 32 of Devin Wilson, and Devin is 1 lap down. John Brace, if he were able to pass him, he'd put him 2 laps down, but catching him is one thing, passing him is another. New second place car is Brandon Gonzalez. He has fought his way past Kenny McCurry. And look at this. Jake Rogers steadily been following the 53, it seems. So is the 31 of Ray Wilson, but they're working together. And it's nice to see Matthew Rodriguez finally getting back into the swing of things, our defending Mobil 1 Cup Series champion. You know, I was actually looking at the 3 competitors we had for the Mobil 1 Cup Series Championship last season. They were Matthew Rodriguez, Sean Galligan, and James Bald. Well, right now, all 3 of them are currently running this way in the standings. 34th, 32nd, and 40th. Rodriguez is 32nd, Galligan is 34th, and Bald is 40th in the standings. It just shows you how each season it's a new bunch of players that come into this thing. And we got a new leader. Whoa! Brandon Gonzalez somehow got by John Brace. I'm not certain how. I didn't even see him really run down the 16, but he's the new leader. And now Jake Rogers, he wants by for second place. John Brace, he wanted to keep that 25 in his rearview mirror, because if he did, he'd have a good chance of possibly becoming the points leader here today due to Devin Wilson's flat left front tire, but sorry about that. Ended up having that thing happen again with the wanting to restart my computer. I hate it when that happens. But anyway, Brandon Gonzalez, he's trying to go to the inside of Devin Wilson here. That would put Devin down a total of 2 laps. And now Brandon Gonzalez is by. Now he's got a lap car between himself and Ray Wilson. Now Devin Wilson is a lap down, but he is fully up to speed with the rest of these race cars. So Ray Wilson's going to have his hands full now. And it almost looked like Devin Wilson didn't really put up much of a fight here. I'm actually surprised about that, because Devin would end up being only 1 lap down if a caution came out, which, by the way, we haven't had a caution yet tonight, which is really surprising, and the laps are quickly ticking down to only 18 to go. But Devin Wilson would be only 1 lap down, and who knows, if a caution came out back-to-back, he could get himself back on the lead lap. But now he's fallen 2 laps down, and so we'd have to have back-to-back-to-back cautions, which, with only 18 laps to go, would obviously end the race under caution, which means Devin Wilson would not really have a chance to even think about getting back on the lead lap. So Brandon Gonzalez is the leader. He's got Devin Wilson right behind him. Wilson now, oh, here we go. Here we go. Devin Wilson says, nope, no thanks. I'm going to go back and get my lap back. But he can't get a run on Brandon. Brandon is not running that low line. I've seen a lot of drivers try and run down right by the white line. Brandon Gonzalez is running the middle groove. Let's notice him going here through turns 1 and 2. Right there, you see he's just barely on the edge of that dark spot. You see Devin Wilson, Patrick Murphy trying to run a groove lower. Brandon Gonzalez, he's just sticking with the line he's got, and that's it. Now we got Patrick Murphy moved into second position. He tried to get around Devin Wilson right there, could not do it. Seeing a new face up here in the top 5, that's Adam Rose. He's now in the 5th position, just ahead of Jake Rogers, who, according to our live points tracker, would be the points leader right now, due to the fact that Ralph Green really he was up at the front for a while, and now he's not. He's actually all the way back in the 32nd position. And there are a few cars running here at the back, and these are cars that actually were held up when Devin Wilson had his tire problem. So Robert Cruz, Jacob Rodriguez, those two guys really have a lot to lose. Cruz comes in 14th in the standings. Jacob Rodriguez comes in 7th. These guys, I don't think they're going to be able to catch the rest of the field. They got to hope for a caution right now, and there also is James Bald in the 27. So John Worry, the report still is that he has retired from this race, the 81, and he came in 6th in the standings. From what we're getting the report of, I was trying to figure out how could an engine failure happen if you haven't even started up the car. These cars, they have first gear, second gear, third gear, fourth gear. Well, apparently he missed a gear when he started up his car. It strips the gears. And so you have no power in your race car. And so that's apparently what has happened to John Worry. He missed a gear, stripped the gears, and was not able to get the car started. Had to be helped actually down pit road for the start of this race. Had to call a tow truck out and get him down pit road. And we were actually lucky we were able to get this race under the green flag. When I stepped aside to fix that computer restart thing, they ended up bringing out a tow truck to push him down pit road. He was not at all under power whatsoever. So a tough break for the guy who comes in 6th in the standings. Brandon Gonzalez, though, folks, ticking off the laps one by one. Now a total of 11 laps to go. Devin Wilson, it almost looks like he's in second place because he is just so fast right now, keeping up with Brandon Gonzalez, but he is not. He is 2 laps down in 41st position. The second place driver actually is that number 31 Brandt Chevrolet of Ray Wilson. Let's take a look and see where some of the other drivers in the top 10 in standings coming into this race are running. Let's first take a look and see where John Brace is. He was up there a while ago leading this race. Our pole sitter, he's slid back to the 4th position. There you see Christian James just behind him, who comes in 10th in the standings. He is currently ahead of Jordan Hester, who's 11th in the standings. That's what he needs to have happen here in order to make sure he stays in the top 10 in standings, and he's now going to try and go to the inside of John Brace. They're running in 4th and 5th. How about Ziggy Bain in the 19? He comes in 8th in the standings. He's all the way back here in the 20th position. He's sliding to the back, so Ziggy Bain not exactly where he wants to be right now, but he's still got a little bit of time to be able to try and work his way back up, pick up some positions here. Nick Eggleston, how about our All-Star race winner, the 74? Where's he running right now? Well, Eggleston's up fighting his way to the front once again as he's in the 12th position right now. Well, there's Sean Galligan up ahead of him in the 11th position. Sean doing a great job ever since moving over to that number 84 for Red Bull Racing. Nice paint scheme there, and he's going to go to the inside of the 18. That's Daniel Schwab. Schwab is actually 22nd in the standings, but having a good run here today in that 18. There's Jake Berg running very consistently here today in the 10th position. Hey, how about this? Look at Jack Richards. Didn't talk about him, and Jack Richards, he's one of those go-or-go-homers, 37th in the standings. He may be able to get himself into the top 35 when all's said and done, as he is currently in the 6th position. Well, we got a total now of 7 laps to go, as Brandon Gonzalez has now opened up quite a lead over Devin Wilson, who is a lap down, though. But let's see if he has any lap traffic to have to contend with. Well, there's Noel Stiller. Noel Stiller is 40th. He's got rear end damage. He must have hit the wall or something. And there's Jacob Rodriguez as well. James Bald, Robert Cruz. Looking through the field here. Apparently someone must have rear-ended Noel Stiller or something. I don't know. I'm not seeing any damage to any of these race cars up ahead here. Still looking to see if anybody has damage. No, I don't see any damage to anybody here. And now Devin Wilson's closing back in on Brandon Gonzalez. I'll tell you one thing. If Devin Wilson does catch Brandon Gonzalez, there is a possibility that Brandon Gonzalez may end up getting shuffled up to a groove he's not really all that familiar with here tonight. And anybody like Kenny McCurry, Jordan Hester back there could take the inside line, get by him for the lead. So really right now, Devin Wilson is everybody from second on back's best friend if he's able to catch Brandon Gonzalez and make the pass on him. But if he does do that, Jordan Hester, Kenny McCurry, they're battling it out between themselves, along with Jack Richards, for that second position, and they got to work on trying to run single file, not worry about each other, but try and get up and catch Devin Wilson and Brandon Gonzalez. Hitting the stripe with a total of 3 laps to go. Brandon Gonzalez looking to maybe pick up his second career win of the season. Here we go. Devin Wilson's gotten to the inside. Can Kenny McCurry and Jordan Hester and Jack Richards close in time? Brandon Gonzalez is moved up to that high side. He lost a little bit of momentum, and now he's getting some company coming up on the back door, and it is not your answering service. Brandon Gonzalez letting Devin Wilson on by, now has to concentrate on getting back up to speed. 2 laps to go. Jordan Hester is the new second place car. Third place, Jack Richards. Fourth place, we find Kenny McCurry. I believe Jake Rogers has moved his way into fifth. He's now being challenged by Sean Galligan for that position. Now it's Brandon Gonzalez coming back to the Devin Wilson machine. He runs about a half groove higher. Devin Wilson obviously gets good speed, though, because he's about a car length ahead of Brandon Gonzalez. But now the white flag is displayed for Brandon Gonzalez, who is looking to pick up his second career win. He won earlier at Infineon due to a fuel mileage strategy. And here tonight, he may end up taking all the marbles here at Lowe's. And I don't know if this would get him inside the top 35 in points, but obviously it would help him as far as chase is concerned, because he and Timmy Pacioli would win 2 races apiece. Out of turn 4 for the final time, making the pass on Devin Wilson, put him 2 laps down again. Brandon Gonzalez wins at Lowe's. And we may have Jordan Hester in the top 10 standings. He finishes off in second. He was 11th in the standings. There's Kenny McCurry. He'll finish third. How about Sean Galligan? Started off on the inside of the final row, I believe, and he's going to finish fourth. And there's our new points leader, folks, right there, the number 25 of Jake Rogers, finishing off in fifth. How about sixth place, Christian Janes? He's going to ensure himself into the top 10 a little bit better here today. And so Brandon Gonzalez takes the win here today at Lowe's. We're going to have the Snickers Cups cars coming here soon. Here come the finishing order and the point stage. You've been watching the production of the NNSCRA numbers with the NCG MRS.